back with another webinar on the 2 month strategy for NEET MDS by Dr. Shaili Mehta. Now, introducing about her, she is an aesthetic dentist and a root canal specialist. She has secured All India rank 44 in NEET MDS and All India rank 79 in INICET exam. So, please welcome Dr. Shali Mehta. Good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, your mic is mute. Please turn it on.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay. We are good to go?
Yes.
Okay. Done.
So everyone, before we move on with the today's session, we will have a Q&A round and we will take all the doubts that a general MDS preparing student has. So ma'am, the first question we have to you is when to start preparing for NEET MDS?
Okay. So I believe apart from interns and the people who are appearing in 2024, like this NEET, I think a lot of other people are also attending this session. So let's have something like we discuss the general FAQs first. And in the end of the session, I will draw and actually explain the 2 month strategy. So now first question is when should one start preparing for NEET MDS? So if you are in first year, second year, third year and final year of BDS, the method of preparation of NEET MDS would be a little different. So if you are a student, your academic curriculum, whatever you are reading in your academic curriculum, your university exam, that is exactly what you need to know for NEET MDS. At a student level, do not directly jump on solving MCQs, because what happens when we start solving MCQs, we miss out on a lot of important topics. Suppose I study about salivary gland and later on I start solving MCQs. So I realize not the entire chapter is there in the MCQ part. Only, crux of it is there. So when you start doing in your start solving MCQs in your UG days, you start taking shortcuts, and that's exactly we don't want, because the questions that you're solving right now are previous paper questions. There is no guarantee you'll have the same questions. So if you are a student, study the entire textbook thoroughly, follow your DCI curriculum, follow your university curriculum, and only stick to theory. Again, I repeat, do not solve MCQs in your BDS curriculum. Now, moving on to when if you are an intern. So if you some people have just started their internship. So for them, if you've just started, like it's been a month or so, relax for 1-2 months. The advantage you guys have over everyone else is you've just cleared your final year exam. All the 8 subjects of BDS are pretty fresh in your mind. So you can take a little leeway. Plus, you are an intern. When you are an intern and preparing for NEET MDS, everyone, including me, had this question in mind. If I start studying now, I'm going to miss out the most important part of my dental school, that is internship, because that's supposed to be the most fun part, right? Everyone looks up like 4 years you've struggled to be an intern. So I would advise enjoy your internship for the next 3-4 months and then get into studying. If you feel that you've not done your BDS very well, but you want to do well in MDS, you can start with little bit preparation. 1 hour a day is good enough for you if you are a fresh pass out final year student. Now, if you are someone who is appearing for NEET this year's NEET, that's in Feb, we'll have an entire half an hour session at the end of this program. So just stay tuned for that. Again, if you are someone who's planning to take a drop, or has already taken a drop, or you are working, we had queries where people said that they are practicing, they are working. That it's been a long time. So your schedule should be exactly like an intern. So an intern's schedule is they use approximately, they go to college for 6 hours. If they're traveling, so another 2 hours. So 8 hours in a day you have to compromise, or you can't say compromise, but you have to give that. You can't, you can't leave internship and study NEET MDS. So that is something we all have done. So just imagine that 6 to 8 hours of your day are gone. Plan the rest of the day. If you are an intern and if you are determined that you only want to do NEET MDS, a personal opinion would be not to join any clinics. If you want to join it, join it now and leave it 6 months before your NEET exam. The reason being, you're already compromising on 6 to 8 hours in your college. If you the evening hours that you get, if you go to clinics, you won't have that much time. And this is not a very simple exam. It is a difficult and a competitive exam. It is not impossible to do it, but we need a lot of dedication for this. Now, if you are someone who's taken a drop, so that would be again my advice. If you want to follow, you can of course follow it. So if you've taken a drop and you are planning for next year's NEET exam, that is 2025, you can join clinics because you are at home. And if you constantly keep studying at this point where you have 13-14 months in your hand, if you start studying from now, it will be too much saturation in the end. So if you want to go ahead and start your clinic, or you want to join as an associate somewhere, you can go ahead and do it. You have good enough 6 months before your actual NEET preparation starts, so you can go ahead with that. In the end, if you want, obviously you can quit and you can focus. The reason being, if you only study because you've already taken a drop, there's a lot of pressure from family and other things. So if you just focus on studying for 13-14 months, it's a long stretch. So you will be saturated, and in the end, you won't have the energy. So you can go ahead and do or if you don't want to join clinics, any extra hobbies or something, but keep 3 to 4 hours in a day for yourself. So that's how the planning should be. First to final year, only theory, no MCQs. Interns, only MCQs to be solved. If you've taken a drop, join clinics. If you are an intern, do not join clinics. If you are someone who's practicing or has taken a drop, obviously you have commitments. So again, your schedule will be similar to interns, where your whatever commitments are there, you finish it off. But then after that, do not waste time. You have very limited time. I hope that sums up a lot of doubts.
Yes. So next question we have is, are coaching classes important for NEET MDS?
Okay. So what happens in coaching classes is that it's basically a cohort. It's basically a group of people that have a common goal of clearing NEET MDS. If you are an intern, so if you go to college every day, you will be surrounded with people who are either giving NEET or are not at all interested in giving NEET, or someone who wants to open up a clinic. So when you go to college, you have, some people are interested, some people are not. Unfortunately, if you are in a batch where no one wants to give NEET exam, your posting batch, so you will be in this chill environment. They'll be enjoying their life, because they don't want to give this exam. So if you are in this environment, you don't know what the competition is. The advantage that any classes would provide is that you are in a classroom, or you are in a session where similar to this session. So here everyone is planning to, or either giving NEET in the next 2-3 months. So you are in this cohort. So whenever sir or any your teachers ask a question, there is someone responding. You know what the competition is. You know what's going on around you. So that is one major advantage of classes, that you have a direction. Second, if you join classes, again, you have regular updates. There are a lot of changes. The pattern changes, the timings changes, all the changes. So you get to know it beforehand. Now, if the most important question is, if you don't join classes, can you clear NEET MDS? The answer is absolutely yes. There is no need for joining the classes. The whatever classes you are joining are just an add-on advantage. If you are determined to clear NEET MDS, there's no one who's going to stop you. You don't need to be in a cohort. If you're determined that you can do it on your own, go ahead and do it. Second, all these updates are not something classes creates. It is there on official websites or of NB, of NICT. So you can regularly check that and get those updates. So this is the second point. Third point, if you are an intern, again, I know a lot of people, the coaching classes are a little far. So traveling time is a big issue for a lot of people. So if you feel that, traveling 2 hours to and fro, and 2 hours or 4 hours, that's wasting a lot of time, you can sit at home and study. Plus, right now after COVID, there are a lot of alternatives. So you have online classes, you have satellite centers, a lot of things. So you can figure out on your own. Now another question was asked that which institute is best. So I don't know about the best because I've worked with a lot of institute, but when I was a student, I was in CDs. So CDs is a coaching institute that's in Davangere. I did not go to Davangere because obviously I was an intern, but luckily they had a satellite center in Mumbai which I attended and cleared my NEET MDS. So, talking about which coaching classes is better, all the coaching classes give demos. So, if you are comfortable with online sessions, attend those demos. If you know, I attended I think 3 or 4 demo classes before I ended up being in CDs. So, if you are confused between classes, go for a demo lecture and then decide what suits you the best. And what there are various aspects. Suppose traveling time. Then some people, so in CDs, what Satellite Center is, there is just a video lecture. There's no physical human being teaching you. If that worked out for me, might not work out for you. So just go ahead and have a demo session, and then you can decide the best classes for you.
So basically, ma'am, demonstration is important to join any class.
Yes, yes. Do not skip the demo session. Do not listen to any seniors or batchmates ki ye classes अच्छा है, ye classes बुरा है. You only know what suits you the best. So go ahead, get demos, and then decide what's best for you.
So moving on to our next question, what books to refer for NEET MDS?
Okay, again, a very common question. First is Dental Pulse. I know I'm not the first person saying this, and a lot of people would also ask, is Pulse enough? See, I'll explain you one simple thing. Before giving any exam, have one thing in mind: you have to pass the exam before being a topper. Passing is more important. Dental Pulse is a book that All India rank 1 is also going to read, and All India rank 25,000 is also going to read. So, if a question comes directly from Dental Pulse and you did not study Dental Pulse, 99.9% of the population will get that answer correct, and you will be that one stupid person who did not read Dental Pulse. So, Dental Pulse is definitely a must book. It's not a standard book per se, but since I think a lot of years, I think more than 3-4 years, Dental Pulse has been a book that everyone refers to. So first book is Dental Pulse. Dental Pulse not once, you have to revise it at least 7 to 8 times. It should be at the tip of your tongue, your Dental Pulse. Second book that I referred was Dentist. Again, Dentist is a book where, some people like other books. Dentist was something that I liked. So for some subjects, I referred to Dental Pulse and Dentist. You cannot skip Dental Pulse. For any topic, do not skip Dental Pulse. Solve Dental Pulse first and then the other books. Again, a lot of coaching institutes or a lot of YouTube videos that you see, they will tell you a lot of different books. Realize your time. If you are an intern, you have maximum of 4 to 5 hours. That is when you are very disciplined, you will get 4 to 5 hours. Else, like a normal human, you will have only 2 hours for studying. If you open up 10 books, you have to realize you have to keep revising this thing. It's not like you study it today and it's done. So suppose now I start with pharmacology. I refer 3 books for pharmacology. Just an example. Suppose I refer 3 books for pharmacology. I spend 1 month on reading those 3 books. Now I'm very thorough with it. Next, I start with oral pathology and I complete it over 1 month of time. The third month, when I open my Pharmac again, now I do not have 1 month time. I will have hardly 3 to 4 days to revise it. So when you start revising those 3-4 books, you realize this is not possible for you. So in the beginning, everyone is over enthusiastic and they start reading a lot of books, forgetting the reality that in NEET MD, one day before NEET MDS, you have to revise 20 subjects. We'll talk about that in the end of the session. But that time you can't be opening 3-4 books and refer this, that. All the questions, all the MCQs, all the question papers are past papers. There is no guarantee you will have a direct question. So solving MCQs is definitely important, but solving unnecessary extra MCQ is not going to help you. In this process, when you start studying for NEET MDS, you are going to solve around 50 to 60,000 MCQs. But in your paper, you will have only 240 questions. There is no possible way that you know that you will solve all those 240 questions and you've been through all those 240 questions. So limit yourself, have a control on yourself that this is what I can do, this is what I need to do, and then go ahead. Don't be over, because right now this happened with me also. In the beginning, in the next 3-4 months, you will feel that you have a lot of time because your coaching classes or even your own timetable, you will give time for particular subjects. So you will feel like, no, I have a lot of time. But in that process, you start understanding and taking a lot of extra books. Your seniors say, your coaching classes would tell you. But limit yourself, be smart, be selective for NEET MDS.
Next question we have is Dental Pulse enough or we have to go through our textbooks as well?
Okay, so if you are if you basically are in regular portion, if you have not taken a gap of more than 3 years between your PG preparation and your final year or internship, there's no need to go for for you to go through the entire textbook for dental subjects, all 8 dental subjects. I'll say 7 dental subjects, because PhD is something where there is a lot of statistics involved that you can learn from YouTube or other sources, but that's a little tricky part, PhD. Even if you go back and read the textbook, I don't think anyone would understand what MCQs we need to solve. So apart from PhD, all 7 subjects of dentistry plus OPATH of 3rd year, there's no need to read the entire textbook. But when it comes to medical subjects, suppose anatomy, physiology, by the time we come to internship, we are lost. What is going on? What's there? If you directly start solving MCQs, you will feel so bad. You feel that you've never read this topic before. So for these topic, textbook is important. Again, selective study in this case is important. Suppose you're studying anatomy. There are 3 volumes of anatomy. If I'm referring to BD Chaurasia because that's a book that everyone can relate to. So 3 volumes. But in NEET MCQ, open any standard textbook. I mean, Dental Pulse, Dentist. Most of, like, you can say 90% of the questions would be from head and neck, and not also like full head and neck. There are selective topics. The crux topics are salivary gland, thyroid gland, nerves, blood vessels, blah blah blah. Plus, when you're studying nerves, facial nerve and trigeminal nerve are important. So be selective in what you are studying. You do not have the time to study the entire ANAT textbook because you're not going to remember it anyways. So study what you need to know. Again, biochemistry, all the cycles that you know. So carbohydrate chapter cycles are important, but what about proteins and lipids? Not very important. So if there are repeated questions from a particular chapter, study it. It is an indication that NEET MDS or the people setting up the paper are interested in the topic. If the topic is appeared once in a while, you do not need to know the entire topic. So for first to final year, your entire textbook is going to be the crux. If you have prepared your BDS, in your BDS days, if you've prepared well for your exams, your university exam, you won't have this question in the end because you don't need to solve any new thing. Read any new thing in your internship. But if you have not read stuff in your BDS days, then do not study the entire textbook. Study the most important parts or things that you have forgotten.
So, ma'am, basically what happens is, ma'am?
Yeah, I'm there.
So what basically happens during our BDS days, we prepare for uni exams. So what we do is directly refer the important topics and we miss out on major parts. So what would you suggest us in this situation?
So if you're a BDS student, and what I have seen that even I have done that, we always refer to the important topics. So there are various books like the question bank, basically, we refer to the past papers. But NEET MDS exactly demands that. So your entire 80% of your paper is going to be 20% of your portion. The small things, very vague things like vertebrae and stuff there. I'm not saying there might not be a question. There'll be one question out of the entire paper. So that one question, and there are also chances that they might not ask that topic. See, even they want something. They want something. They in this paper they want to judge whether you deserve a MDS seat or not. It's not to make be in competition with your MBBS counterparts. So you are getting a dental seat, you're not appearing for MBBS. So even they know the limitations, they also know, they just want to see your correlation capacity. The questions that comes in NEET MDS would be a correlation. Suppose there'll be a question it'll be a 3 or 4 liner question where a concept from oral surgery, oral pathology, and microbiology would be related. They will never ask a question directly on oral pathology or pathology directly. They will ask 3 4 concepts, they'll mix and match, they will give you a bacteria, they'll give you a name of the drug, and they'll ask you what's the treatment plan. That comes in oral surgery. So they will correlate and ask you those questions. So if you are doing well in your BDS, you are studying, you're doing the majority part, I think you should be good to go. But make sure, even when you're studying for your BDS, make sure don't study one day before the exam. Study it well. Whatever you are studying well, because we need to convert your short-term memory into long-term memory. One night before exam, I know nothing happens that day. You just study to pass that exam, and that is definitely not going to help you in NEET MDS.
So next question we have is how to manage college and private practice along with NEET exams.
Yeah. So again, I said that you have 6 to 8 hours. For this problem is very common for interns where they have to spend around 6 hours in college. What used to happen to me is, suppose I have a public health dentistry posting, which is a pretty chilled out posting in every college. Periodontics, again, a chilled out posting in some colleges. So in these, when you have these postings, you're not very tired. Plus, if the faculty is good enough, they allow you to study in college. And when you come home again, you're not very tired. And completely opposite of this is when you're posted in prosto, endo, and OS. The OPD is crazy. The workload is crazy. I am from a private college. Even private college, the workload is too much. So you're too tired to come home and study. So what happens with interns is that, suppose if I was posted in PSD, my rank would go up to 400 in CDs, All India rank 400. This is something I'm talking, let's say 6 months before the exam, my rank would be 400. Now, suppose next one I'm posted in prosto or cons. So my rank would drop down to 3000, and that is very disturbing, because you feel that what is going on. But trust me, all the interns listening to me right now, this is very common. Don't worry about it. It's not your fault. It's the time management, and everyone, all the interns have time in the end. Luckily this time internship got over and you have good enough, I think 4 or 5 months before NEET MDS. That's a good thing. We had only 3 months. But whenever you have time, when you have good postings like the chilled out postings, make sure that you study in those time. And when you have difficult postings, make sure you work on your clinical skills as well, because you are going to do MDS in one subject. Rest all the 8 subjects you are going to learn in your internship. Do not bunk your postings for studying for NEET MDS. MDS is only for one branch. If you do, suppose like me, if you're doing an endo, you forget how to do extractions, how to do other things in dentistry, even scaling. So make sure that you learn everything as well. So 6 hours, give commitment to your college. If you have time, study. If you don't, obviously you can't do anything. But be determined that once you come back home and your traveling time, utilize your traveling time well. And once you are back home, avoid all distractions and start studying genuinely, at least for 3 to 4 hours, whatever you can. In the beginning, I am not going to suggest you to study for 8 hours, 10 hours, because it's not possible. This is strictly for people appearing for NEET MDS in 2025, not this year. For people appearing in 24, we'll talk about it.
So next we have what subjects to focus on, what is the weightage of each subject, and how much time one should spend on each subject.
Okay, so now if you have started your preparations, you would have realized oral pathology is huge. Pharmacology is not huge, but very difficult. Anatomy, you can say, is difficult. Now here, I would like to say play to your strengths. Nice. Now, suppose my favorite subject in dental school was anatomy. So, studying for anatomy in my NEET PG did not feel like a pain. It was very simple for me. In contrast to that, I hated pharmacology in my second year. So, studying for pharmac in my PG was a big task. So, play to your strengths. You know where your weak subjects are. No one can tell you what your weak subjects are. So, if you ask about weightage, the weightage is equal to all. For example, my exam, I gave NEET in 2019. We expected the paper to be like a equal distribution, part A and part B, equal distribution of medical and dental subject. It was nothing like that. The entire paper was oral surgery, pathology, microbiology. Entire paper was equal. NEET MDS, INICT has no distinction like three questions from this topic, two questions from this topic. There's nothing like that. They, as I said, that they ask interrelated questions. So the weightage per se means that what is the tiebreaker? You need to realize that all the students giving NEET MDS are dentists. So all the dental subjects, all 8 dental subjects are very thorough. There is no point, there'll be hardly a question where a dental student cannot answer. The problem comes for the medical subjects. So if you are good in medical subjects, it's that tiebreaker. Those brownie points come from medical subjects, especially subjects like pharmacology, general medicine, which people just avoid. Like they cannot, they either don't study it well, they don't understand the concept, or they just mug up. So if you are looking for extra brownie points, the top 50 ranks, ask anyone from the top 50, they will say give more important to medical subjects, because dental you can manage on your own, but medical subjects is something you need to study. When it comes to dental subjects, PhD is a major tiebreaker, not can't say tiebreaker kind of a thing, but that brownie point, because people leave those numericals, people leave out on those statistical questions, and that's what determines you get an add-on advantage of those 4 marks in NEET MDS. So there's no clear-cut distinction or distribution of marks. All the websites have some weightage, or if you open your Dental Pulse, there is this weightage given, but it's absolutely useless, because in NEET MDS they are not going to, take that pulse and ask ki ha anatomy ka question, biochemistry ki. That's not how it works.
So, ma'am, next question we have is how to manage lengthy subjects. Like
Uh,
we have math and all those subjects. So, how can we manage and prepare for it?
how to manage? Sorry,
Lengthy subjects.
dental subjects.
Lengthy.
Lengthy subjects. Okay, yeah. So as I said, oral pathology is lengthy, oral medicine is lengthy. So what I used to do is, when I used to start studying oral pathology, when you study a subject for 15 days, after a point there is a saturation. You just feel bored. So take a big topic like oral pathology, pharmacology, study it for 15 days, take a break. Take a break, as in don't leave studies, but take a smaller topic. For example, you can take DA, you can take DH, you can take periodontics, something very simple where you studied for 3-4 days and you're done. So you get that stick that out of 20 subjects I've done with one, and then get back to oral pathology. Dental materials again is huge, pharmac is huge, general medicine is huge. Don't try to study it at a stretch, because you will be saturated, your speed will decrease, and you will ultimately lose out on the motivation. Take breaks, break up the lengthy topics into small parts.
Ma'am, next we have is there is too much competition and I am unable to focus. So, what would you suggest for me?
This happens to interns a lot, because they are always thinking about the fact that the people who've taken a drop have more time. And that is exactly true. I mean, even I had this thing there where I used to think my seniors have more time. They don't have to go to college. They don't have to do extracurricular activities, and they basically have a lot of time. The thing is, the people that you see are actually not your competition. Your competition would be sitting in some other state, and you cannot imagine the competition. So the best thing to do is take up your grant test, whatever test you are giving, take up that score. Suppose it's the month of November, I give a grant test, I score a particular rank. The exam that I give in December should have at least 2 to 3 times, not numbers, 2 to 3 times better rank than my previous one. That's the only thing you keep in mind. If you start thinking about competition, there are 25,000 people giving this exam. If I would have thought that, that 25,000 people give an exam, there's no chance. So obviously, if you feel there's no chance, there's definitely no chance. So do not think about the competition. It's too vague. It's too huge. Do not think about that. Be relaxed. Just focus on what you are doing. Just try to be a better version of yourself. Again, if some test you do really well, you come in the top 100, don't be too overexcited. This is not your final exam. I've seen a lot of people doing extremely well in grand test. They get overconfident, and ultimately in the final NEET MDS exam, they score less. So do not be over happy that wow, I've done in the top 100. That is not your final marks.
So next question is how to improve scores in grant tests.
Sorry.
How to improve scores in grant tests.
Yeah. So, suppose you are giving grant test right now. One important thing I realized during my preparation is I used to, when I started giving my grant test, I used to, attempt very less. I used to leave approximately 30-40 questions and my rank was not improving. And that's the time where our sir, Dr. Raisin sir, told us to attempt maximum. So whenever you're giving any exam, this is valid for NEET, INI, CET. The maximum number of questions that you can leave is 10, nothing more than 10. If it's a simple paper, 5, maximum 5 questions are something that you can leave. Because if you look at the statistics, if I read a question, there are 4 options. If I'm able to eliminate one of the options, there are 75% chances that I'll get the question right. And that will give me 4 marks. And suppose I eliminate 2, so there are 50% chances. So attempt maximum, do not worry, because even if you lose marks, you will lose that is -1. You will lose 1 mark. But if you get that question correct, you will get 4 marks. So if you want to change see a drastic improvement in your grand test, attempt maximum questions as you can. Sometimes, obviously, if you read a question, you don't understand the question, you read the option, you obviously, again, don't understand anything, respect that question, leave it. Do not go and attempt any random thing. You have a buffer of around 10 questions, but nothing more than 10. Our sir, Raisin sir, used to say the more questions you leave after 10 is your rank dropping down by thousands. So if you leave one question after, so if I leave 11th question, my rank drops down by 100 or 1000. So do not do that. Extremely important to attempt maximum question. Try to eliminate at least one option and go ahead and attempt it.
Next question we have is I have done an average study throughout the year. Can I still crack NEET 2023 or should I wait for 2024?
Okay, so now we are moving to the crux of the topic. So if you are someone who is confused that should you clear it this time or should you clear it the next time? Personal opinion, personal advice, the faster the better. So if you still have good enough 2 months, if you are an average student, it is a good enough time for you to clear NEET MDS exam, because if you wait for next year, the pressure is going to be more. Second, the worst thing that can happen is they might change the pattern. So whatever you prepared for this year might not be the same next year. So you have to start with preparation again. Third thing, we feel that NEET MDS is the end, but it is not. After you score a good rank, you get into PG. There is again 3 years to spend. Again, if you get into a government college, there is a bond which I'm serving currently. So there's a long cycle. The faster, the better. Plus, if you go for this exam well prepared, but no pressure. This is what I had, because I was an intern. So I gave my NEET exam with, I was prepared, but I was not very sure whether I'll clear it or not. But I was realized that I have done my best. This is what I could do with the time I had. And I went for the exam. The advantage I had was I had no pressure, because I, in the back of the head, I was like, agar ye baar nahi hua to I have a turn. But luckily, I'm so grateful that it happened in the first shot. Just imagine it, if it happens in NEET 24, you'll be saving 1 year. You'll be 1 year ahead of your, of your batchmates and everyone. So if you are even a slight bit of confused whether this year or next year, it is definitely this year. Prepare the best you can, and obviously if you give exam this year, you have an add-on advantage for the next year as well if it doesn't happen. So give an exam this year and see what happens, and all the best for that.
So, ma'am, we do have questions in chat box.
So should we take up those questions or the strategy first?
I guess we will take the strategy first, then we'll move on to those questions.
Okay, fine. So I'll just start my screen share.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the 2 month strategy that we have. So first is, today is 26th of November, and I'm giving you a buffer of 8th of December, because no matter how much we try, I'm sure that our portion is not over yet. So you have a buffer from today till 8th of December. So in this time, what you need to study is complete the entire portion. There will be topics or entire subjects that you haven't studied. Complete those subjects, whatever you can do. First thing is to start with Dental Pulse. After you're done with Dental Pulse, if you are in some coaching classes, start solving their papers, start going through the question banks or whatever is there. But this is a buffer time for you to complete all your syllabus, because after this you do not have time to study anything new. You just have to revise. So this is the time where you need to study and focus on new things. After that, everything will be revision. So once we have reached 8th of December, then from 9th of December your actual revision starts. So in this revision, I have given an entire time. We'll talk about the how many days to give to each subject, but I'll tell you a general thing. When I say that you have to complete a subject, so the first thing that you need to do in that subject is pulse, that is Dental Pulse. Second, other books that you've referred to. Third is notes. Fourth is your institute papers, app questions, or whatever you are following. So these are the things that I mean by complete. Now, when you are in this phase from 9th of December to 8th of January, I want you all to mark first important points and volatile things that you feel, dates or some formulas or names or years that you might forget. So important points and your volatile data you need to mark, be it in your Dental Pulse or other books, notes, or institute paper. Mark these areas, because in the end these are the things that you will have the time to go through it. You cannot go through the entire syllabus again. So from 9th of December to 8th of January, finish all these things. Now I'll tell you how much time to give for each subject. So first is medical subjects and dental subjects. When we talk about medical subjects, so first I'll tell you what sequence you need to follow. So first, when you start with the medical subjects, first thing is your textbook. So as I said, that important things that are there in textbook, whatever you have marked or what you've realized in just 1 year of preparation, that suppose there are maximum questions from glands, the maximum questions from nerve. So mark these area and study textbook. So first thing is to study textbook. Then you start studying or reading the synopsis that's given behind Dental Pulse. Then you solve MCQs, and then you go to the explanation of the MCQ. So for any medical subject, first thing is to read the textbook, the important part of textbooks. Next, synopsis, then MCQ, and the explanation given behind those MCQs. For any dental subjects, first start with studying the MCQ, like solving the MCQ, read the explanation of MCQ, then go ahead with synopsis. And if you feel or if you have the time, then and only then go and read the textbook. If you do not have time, you can skip it. Okay, so for dental subjects, MCQ, explanation, synopsis. Now a lot of people ask this question: how important is the explanation given behind given behind Dental Pulse is? Suppose I there is a question on what is the most common tumor in females. If I give the answer, so do I need to study the explanation that's given behind? The answer is yes, because when you look at the explanation given in Dental Pulse, there'll be an entire table which will help you to understand and remember the most common tumor in female is the actual question, but they'll give an entire table that will state the most common tumor in male, most common female tumor in India, most common tumor in children, most common long bone tumor, this, that, a lot of things. So with the help of one question, you will be able to study 10 or 15 more questions. So that's the importance of explanation of each and every MCQ. So in Dental Pulse, it's given behind every chapter. But when we talk about Dent Test, it's given just below the answer. So even if you know the answer, make sure at least once you read the explanation of it. Now moving on to how much time you should give to each subject. So for anatomy 1, biochemistry 1, physiology 1, microbiology, pathology, general medicine, you can give 1 day. Pharmacology, you need to give 2 days. Again, periodontics is 1, dental materials is 2, prosto is 1, cons is 1, endo 1, oral pathology is 3 days, DA is 1, DH is 1, PhD is 2 days, and OMDR is 1 day. So when you, if you want, you can take a screenshot of this. So these are the things that I feel. I mean, this is the timeline you should follow if you want to finish off all the subjects in good enough time. Now, when I say 1 day of anatomy, so it starts with first reading the textbook, then the synopsis, then MCQ, and then explanation. We talk about dental materials, MCQ first, explanation next, synopsis, and textbook. This involves your Dental Pulse, other books, notes, and whatever apps or other things that you're following. If you follow this timetable, this would get over in 24 days. But let's be frank, this timeline, there is some new year also. So considering a buffer time, I'm giving you 4 extra days. So that is exactly 9th December to 28th Jan is 28 days. This is 28 days. So this 4 days are buffer days. In case you miss out on something, you can go ahead and complete in those 4 days. Now let's move on to the second phase of revision, that is from 9th Jan to 24th of Jan. Now again here, this would be, I'm hoping that one revision is over, and from 9th December to 24th Jan is your second revision, and now from 9th Jan to 24th would be your third or fourth revision. So moving on to anatomy, whatever sequence and whatever things you did earlier is the same you have to follow, but this time you will have less time. So for anatomy, you can give half a day, biochemistry half, physiology, microbiology, pathology half, general medicine half. Pharmacology, again, I give 1 day. Perio, pedo, dental materials 1 day. Prosto half, cons half, endo half, oral surgery half, oral pathology 2 days. This is also half. PhD is 1 and OMDR is again half. So if you follow this schedule, you will have 13, you should be done in 13 days. but still keeping a buffer or another 2 days, you have a total of 15 days. In this 2 days, whatever you've left out, you can go ahead and complete it. So that is your second phase, that is from 9th of January to 24th of January. That is a total of 15 days. This is the timeline you should follow, because once you have solved MCQs, it is very easy to just read it again and solve it again. Plus, if you feel that some topics like DA or DH taking less time, you can mix up three subjects and study. Now, if you have your exam in the next 3 months, the average time that you need to study is a minimum of 10 hours. So, till this point, 10 hours should be good enough, and you should, by this time, get a habit of it. In the first revision, try to study for 10 hours, because in the second revision, you might have to study for 12 hours to complete it in half days. So it is a little tricky. It sounds daunting, but trust me, once you're done with this 2 months, there's a lot of gap between your results and the counseling process. You have a lot of time. Plus, you'll feel proud of yourself that you've done it. If you want to keep track of your time, there's this app called as Forest, which I used, which really helped me to keep a track of how many hours am I studying. By the number of hours, I don't mean, where you just procrastinate, open your phone and just keep the Forest app on. Do not do that. These are constructive study hours. And since you are revising, there is there's not a lot of load on your brain. So it is very simple to actually sit for three slots of 3 hours, solve MCQ, read the explanation, and move ahead. And now moving on to the last phase, that is from 25th Jan to 4th of Feb. That will be your last phase, where you actually are studying or revising. So in that, this is 10 days, the last 10 days. So here the first is dental pulse, where you can give 5 days to dental pulse. Now in this 5 days, obviously you do not have the time to solve MCQs, but remember the time when I told you all that you need to mark the important points. So in those 5 days, you need to only and only study those important things, those important MCQ that you keep constantly forgetting. So in these 5 days, you have to solve and read those important MCQs. Again, when you start making or you already have made notes and question paper apps or whatever questions you've marked, I'm giving last 5 days for that. I'm again and again saying last 10 days, because this is a very important phase and I do not want you all to panic in this phase. So consider your everything should be over by 4th of Feb, and that gives you a buffer of 3 days where you have to do nothing. You have to just glance through your book. Just turn the pages, glance through your book, read only extremely important points here. So when you are in the last phase or you are in this 15 days wala phase, again start marking things that you are still forgetting, and these are the things that you need to study here. So you will have a very limited data in the end that you are forgetting, and you will feel good that this is it, this is all I have to study. In starting from 25th of Jan, there is one important change that you need to make. So right now you do not have your timetable yet, your exam timetable. Whenever you get your timetable, you know that so the tentative date is obviously 9th of Feb, but we do not yet know the timing. But by the time it's 25th Jan, you will obviously come to know your timing. Suppose your exam is in the morning slot, let's say 9 a.m., or if it's in the afternoon slot like me at 2 p.m., make sure in the second phase you start training your brain according to the timetable. So if the exam is in afternoon, make sure majority of your study happens between 2 to 5 p.m. If the exam happens to be in the morning, let's say 9 to 12 p.m., make sure majority of your studying happens, because your body would need some time to get accustomed to that important exam. Do not do it just one day before the exam or 1 week before the exam. Preferably take a good enough 15 days for changing your schedule. If you are someone who studies till 3 or 4 o'clock at night, this time can create a problem for you. So start training your brain, start sleeping a little early around 11 or 12 o'clock so that you are comfortable on the day of exam. uh, I would just like to conclude by saying that whatever you prepare now, just a minute, I'll just switch this off. So, whatever you are preparing right now is just 50%. All your preparation is just 50%. How calm, composed you are on the day of exam is going to determine your ultimate success. That day is very important. We'll obviously have some live session or something for you guys. If the exam is on 9th, I will have a session, or maybe on 1st of Feb, for you to know what you need to do 8 days before the exam. But just be very calm before the exam. This is not a life and death matter. It's just an exam. Treat it like an exam. Study hard. One day before the exam, just you should have just one thought: I have utilized my time well. I have studied the maximum I could, and the exam should be fine. So with that, I think most of the questions are solved, and we can take the extra questions that are there in the chat box.
Yes, ma'am. Now, the questions we have in chat box is, ma'am, dental pulse, minimum how many times to be studied?
So, for dental subjects, somewhere around 6 to 7 times is good enough number. But if you are talking about medical subjects, difficult subjects, at least 10 times if you have time. If you do not have time, maximum number of times that you can solve. If because at this stage, if someone's giving exam in the next 2 months, if I tell them to solve it 10 times, even I know it's practically impossible. But for someone who's going to give exam in 2025, they have good enough time. So keep a target of solving dental pulse at least 10 times. Solving just does not mean randomly marking answers. Solving means reading that question well, the explanation given behind, synopsis part. These three things 10 times.
Next, we have, ma'am, watching lecture and revising together is too along with my college is very difficult. So is it fine to try to finish the lectures and start revising later?
See, what happened is when you start revising in the end, there'll be a lot of subjects, a lot of stress. As the months pass, there'll be a lot of stress. So you will feel that, suppose you are done with 5 subjects and you've not revised, you've just studied it for one time. So after 2 months, when you open it, you will be more stressed because then you will not remember anything. So if you, let's say if you've just started your preparation in a week, I'm only counting 5 days in a week, 2 days I'm giving buffer days. So in 5 days, revision should be at least 1 or 2 days, and 4 days you can, 4 or 3 days you can keep for your new studying if you've just started. If you are someone who's appearing in this exam, the 24 exam, the next 10 days, the buffer days I said, is the only time you need to study something new. Do not make a mistake of changing topics in the end, because topics, or in the end, a lot of people will give you random advice: use this book, that book, this, that. Do not listen. Whatever you have done is good enough strategy. Do not change book, do not buy new books, do not buy new question papers. Whatever you have is enough. So in the end, just stick to what you know and stick to your strengths.
Next, we have is, which coaching institute is better to start for early preparation?
I don't think you need early preparation. I mean, I know a lot of classes who've been taking lectures from second year, final year BDS. Do not waste time. You have limited time in BDS. Focus on clinical skills. In internship, obviously, as I said, you need a cohort, but in third year, final year, that will just add up the stress. Study well, study for your university exams well, manage that stress first. Do not take unnecessary stress about the competition and blah, blah, blah.
Next, we have is, which coaching institute? Okay, we have done with it. Ma'am, I have completed my second year but not studied well during this year. So, is there still time to study properly or not?
Yeah, of course. So if you've not completed your second year well, you have internship, you have time in internship. Second year medical subjects, even if someone who studied very well would forget by the time they are in internship. If in third year, it's called the honeymoon period because there is less studies to be done. But if you can only if you can manage to grab your hands on dental materials, that will help you in your final year, because final year again your dental material is going to be repeated. If you are not very sure about medical subjects, it's okay, you can cover it up in internship, but make sure your dental materials is a little strong.
Next we have is what is the eligibility criteria for 2024 exam?
For 2024 exam, the important criteria is you need to complete your internship, or your internship should be over within the next 6 months. So if you have just cleared final year, you definitely cannot apply for that exam. But again, if you have cleared your internship, look out for INI CET, and if you match the criteria, go ahead and give the exam. I just gave random. My INI CET was just random because that was 1 month after my convocation ceremony. I was not prepared, but I was told by my coaching institute to give the exam to have an experience of the entire exam, because in Mumbai we had one center for AIMS NEET. All the exams, there's only one center, so you used to the center, you used to the pattern, you are used to the place, so that gives an added advantage when you're giving the actual exam.
Next we have is how to deal with diagram of anatomy.
I think that's a very academic question, not for NEET MDI, but still I'll answer that. So practice diagrams very well, because a simple way of see, my handwriting, you guys must have seen, is pretty horrible, pretty shabby and dirty. But the thing is, try to make schematic diagrams. If you can't make very big organs or stuff like that, just make triangle squares and just label it. So you don't have to prove your examiner that you are artist. You just have to prove that you're a doctor. So that's fine. I mean, that's what I have done throughout my BDS and MDS. Don't draw too artistic because you don't have time also. Do not draw too artistic diagrams. Just do simple, sober stuff that will help the examiner that, okay, fine, you know the concept.
Next and last question we have is I am from 2022 batch and when should I prepare for NEET PG?
I think to 2022, as in the joining batch or the leaving batch. So, I mean, if you are a joining batch of 2020, you have 2 years more to complete your BDS, or 3 more years to complete your BDS. So, study your university well. And if you are someone who's 2020 pass out batch, you can study today. You can start studying for NEET MDS today and hope that you can crack it this time. Or, of course, you have the option of cracking it next time, but do not delay the process.
And next we have is which online coaching is best or offline coaching? Which is best?
See, I don't know about best and all, but go for a demo. I like CDs personally, but a lot of things in CDs have changed after we left. A lot of new things have been or how effective they are. So, and a lot of good institutes are there out there. So you can make a choice on your own after taking the demo lectures. There's nothing best. There are people who've got like great grades or ranks without a coaching institute. So I don't think that plays a very important role.
Next we have how to prepare for second year UG BDS.
Okay, so we'll have a separate session on it because that will take a lot of time. That's a completely different session.
So, is anyone still having doubt? They can text us in the chat box.
Yeah, and one important thing too, do not, like, things that you don't do or you should not do right now. Do not look at the seat matrix. Do not look at your dream college seat matrix. Suppose I am someone who wants to get into GDC Mumbai Endo. Do not open the seat matrix of last year and check out. That will just cause depression and nothing else. So get a rank. There is nothing called as a dream branch, dream college. There's nothing like that. You can have a dream branch, dream college only after you have a rank. So focus on your rank. Do not think, because once you open these sites and you are from open category or whatever you are, you open and you see that is one seat, there's two seat in some particular government college, particular branch. Do not think about all that. Focus on studying. Do not keep asking people, MDS pass out people, scope kitna hai. First get a rank, then you have a lot of scope. After you get a rank, NEET, the admission process would be after 6 months. So in 6 months, जो जिसको जितना पूछना है, scope, income, you can ask everything. Do not do it right now. Just study.
Ma'am, next we have is what is the cutoff mark for INICT?
Cutoff keeps changing every year. This time it was, I think, below, it was negative or something. So cutoff is something different. See, you pass at 70, but you get admission at 90. It's like that. If it's my 10th standard, I pass at 35% is the passing. I passed my 10th standard exam, but to get into a good college, I need to get 95 plus marks. So there's nothing, a cutoff marks is not important for someone who wants to get into a good institute. Your aim should be ultimately to get in the top 50 of India, and that is achievable. Trust me, I have, I was the general secretary of my college. I had 10 things on my head, but the only thing that helped me was after 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, after completing all my duties, organizing college fest, convocation, everything, after I come home, I made sure my phone was switched off. I used to study. So you can do that as well. It's not a very big thing, but just have a little bit of discipline only for the next 6 or 7 months.
So, ma'am, next we have is I'm working and how can I manage my preparation?
So if you're working, consider yourself to be an intern. If you are working, so if you are giving 6 to 7 hours to your practice, leave those 6 to 7 hours. Apart from that, I can understand that you might have other family commitments as well. So you can say that around 8 hours in a day are gone. Whatever time you have left, concentrate on that. Timings like early morning or late night are something where you won't have a lot of commitments to meet. So that's the time you need to utilize for studying for your NEET MDS.
Ma'am, the last question is that can we refer to other institute as well while we are having in one? We are already involved in one, so can we have and refer another institute as well?
See, you can, of course, you can refer or you can join other institute. It's similar to the concept of book I explained. In the beginning, everyone's very enthusiastic to read 10 books. So in the end, when you have like the strategy I said, you have one day to revise anatomy. What classes, what books are you going to refer in that one day? So keep that thing in mind and don't understudy, but don't overstudy also. So if you are in one institute, you feel that the one institute is not good enough, you can enroll another. Try to follow one. Like try to follow one person or one teacher, one institute. That will be not create too much confusion for you.
Ma'am, Akansha is asking question, which is the right year to start my PG preparation?
Right here start from first BDS, but only the theory. But in internship, the MCQ part. And again, in 4 years of BDS, be very sure whether you want to give NEET exam or not. I see a lot of people in the middle of internship, they realize, okay, now I want to start preparing. This exam is not very, I won't say it's impossible to crack, but it is very, very competitive. You will find people who've been trying to crack this exam for the last 3-4 years. They haven't been able to do it. So it's not a joke where, you just wake up one day and say, ki, chalo, aaj kuch kaam nahi hai, chalo, let's crack NEET. Do not do that. In your 4 years of BDS, determine that what you want to do. You want to do MDS, you don't want to do MDS. Beginning of internship is again a good time to determine whether you want to go abroad or stick to MDS or whatever you want to do. So preparation start when you are 100% sure that I want to do MDS, start your preparation from that day.
Last question is what branch to pursue and which branch to choose?
After you get NEET MDS, you have a lot of time to think about all these things. You can actually go to clinics and sit. That's what I did. I was confused between endo and pedo. My first liking was obviously endo. But a lot of people told me pedo is good. I went to a pedodontist clinic, but I found that no, endo is my true love. So, but that was everything after NEET MDS. Nothing right now. Study, because what you end up doing is if I like oral surgery, I'll study too much about oral surgery in NEET. And the questions are going to be limited. The entire paper is not going to be oral surgery. So you need to know all 20 subjects very well, and you have a lot of time. Trust me, you will be bored after NEET MDS. After your results come and the counseling process, it's a long time.
So I guess we are done with the questions today. It was very great, ma'am, to have you on our platform and having such a precise and in-depth details about how to prepare and how to aim for what we actually want. And it was literally, even we as a student needed a guidance that we even I was confused that whether I should start my preparation right now or I should delay it. So now we are very much clear with the concept and literally it was a very helpful session for each and every one of us. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Arvind. Thank you, Dr. Kushbu, for the opportunity. And thank you, everyone who's been attending this session. I think it's a Sunday evening. And I'm grateful to each and every one of you all that attended. If you all have any questions I couldn't answer, you can get back to me on my Instagram account. And I hope this session was helpful.
Now, all the participants, please fill up the form and you will get your e-certificates after this. Okay. So let them fill the form first.
Will I also get a certificate?
Thank you so much, ma'am, once again. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Bye bye.
Bye
All the
bye.
best.